Hi students, welcome back to Wisdom Academy YouTube page. In the previous video, you have learnt about drift velocity, relaxation time, superconductivity and temperature dependence of resistance. In today's class, we are going to see resistances or resistors in series and parallel. So, I hope you have understood by now that resistors are used to slow down the flow of current. So, wherever you want to restrict the flow of current, what we use resistors. So, in a circuit, suppose if I keep one resistance here, then when the current starts to flow from here, it will pass from here slowly because of the resistor, and these charges have to do some work to make the charges move from this point to this point, and that was known as the potential difference. So, potential difference V was the work done in moving the charge from this point to this point, and this was the EMF of the battery, right. So, now these resistors which are present will not be always only one or two. In practical life, we will have numerous resistors and they can be connected into two parts. Either they can be connected into series like this, or they can be connected in parallel like this. I hope you remember what you studied in 10th standard. I will just repeat the 10th logic first, then I will go to some little higher concept of this. So, let me assume there are three resistances R1, R2, R3 which are connected in series with a source of potential difference like this. And here I have three resistances R1, R2 and R3 connected to a source of potential difference like this. Now, this being the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal, the current starts to move in this direction, I. Here, this is the current, right. So, now if you see, whenever you see a cell, and I say, like suppose if I say it is 10 volt cell, remember that this end of the cell, if I take it to be 10 volt, then this end of the cell will be 0 volt, right. Because 10 minus 0, 10 volt, that is the potential difference. So, all the points connected in this line, if until the point when any capacitor, resistor, inductor or cell is coming, it will not change its potential difference. So, if it is 10 volt, up to here it will be 10 volt only. Similarly, if it is 0 volt, then until this point it will be 0 volt, because on this path there is no drop of potential, because there is no appliance present here, there is no resistor, there is no inductor, there is no capacitor, there is no cell. So, there is no option of potential drop. But at this point, can I say it is 0? I cannot say, because if passing through this resistance, there will be some potential drop. In simple words, if I say resistance that needs potential, so resistance will always lead to the potential drop. Even a capacitor is there, it will lead to potential drop. So, potential drop happens whenever the current is passing through a point. So, we can say at this point is 10 volt and this point is 0 volt. Same way, here whatever V is present and this is 0, then this point will have potential V, this point will have potential 0. So, I can say that these 2 points are having the same potential. So, if you see R1, it is present between V and 0, R2 between V and 0, R3 also between V and 0, V, V and V. That is the reason all the resistances present in parallel connection will be said to be having same potential. So, the potential difference remains same when they are in parallel. Whereas, if you see here if it is 10 volt, here it will drop, here it will drop, here it will drop. So, this point will have potential V1 based upon what R1 is there, this point will have V2 and this point will have V3. So, here it will be V1, V2 and V3. So, all these three resistances will have its own potential drop V1, V2 and V3. So, what we learned now? We learned that in the case of series connection, the potential drop or the potential difference varies, whereas in the case of parallel connection, potential difference remains same, right. Let us talk about the current now. Whatever current started from here, suppose it is I, same I goes here, same I goes here and same I goes here, comes back. So, the current remains same in a series connection, current remains same, whereas the current in the case of parallel connection, if you see, what current starts from here? It gets split into three different currents here. I1 will go, here I2 will go, here I3 will go. Someone may think, sir, how to decide whether how much current will go? That depends upon the resistance offered, isn't it? So some branch is offering less resistance, more current will go. Some branches have offering more resistance, less current will go. So based upon what resistance the branch is offering, that much current will go inside. So here the current gets divided. Based upon what? Based on resistance offered. Okay. Now let us try to derive the expression. This derivation already we have seen in 10th standard. I am just repeating it for your convenience. So if you see here, the net potential difference will be equal to, or I will write V equivalent is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, isn't it? And V is equal to IR, so it will be I into R equivalent is equal to, current remains same, there is no I1, I2, I3. So I into R1 plus I into R2 plus I into R3. If you take I common outside, it will become R1 plus R2 plus R3 as I into R equivalent. These two gets cancelled and finally you get R equivalent is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. This is the R equivalent value when the resistances are in series. Or I should write in most easiest way, I can write R series. So I will use here SER, series. So SER means when resistors are in series. Okay. Let us see a parallel connection. In parallel connection, the current gets divided. So I can write I in parallel is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3, because V remains same. And we know by Ohm's law V is equal to IR, so I is equal to V by R. So V by R parallel is equal to V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. Why have I written here V same? Because there is same potential difference everywhere. There is no V1, V2, V3. If you take V common outside, it becomes 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. And this is V by R parallel. VV gets cancelled and finally I get 1 by R parallel is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So we understood that if resistances are in series, they will be directly added up, and if resistances are in parallel connection, then they will be added up with their reciprocals. One more thing I want to tell you here, that suppose all the resistances are same. Suppose R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R3 is equal to suppose R. Then I can write that R series is equal to R plus R plus R. So I will write 3R, or I should write NR. So N is the number of resistances. Number of resistances. Suppose we have 5 resistances of same intensity connected in series, then the R equivalent will be equal to 5R. Same way here, if everything is fine, then it will become 1 by R plus 1 by R plus 1 by R, that will be 3 by R, so it will be N by R. So 1 by R parallel is equal to 3 by R, or N by R I should say. So what will be R parallel? R parallel become equal to R by N. This is this, not shortcut I will say, just the very basic thing you should remember, because if suppose we have 2 ohm, 2 ohm, 2 ohm, 2 ohm, 4 things are connected in parallel, instead of finding 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, directly you can write it is R by N. So it will be, suppose there are 4, then 4 by, if there are 4, it will be 1 ohm. So R by N will give you the R parallel, and N into R will give you R of series. One more thing I want to tell you here, like suppose there are 2 resistances in parallel, R1 and R2, if there are only 2, and you know how to find the R equivalent, you will do R1 by R parallel is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. If you see, it will become LCM is R1 R2, and this becomes R1 plus R2. This is 1 by R parallel. So R parallel becomes equal to R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. That is, when you want to find the equivalent resistance of 2 resistors which are connected in parallel, then you multiply it and divide by their addition. For example, if there are 2 resistances which are 5 ohm and 10 ohm. So one student will do 1 by R is equal to 1 by 5 plus 1 by 10, then he will take the LCM, then he will find. And someone who is smart enough, what he will do? 10 into 5, 50 by 10 plus 5, 15. So he will tell 50 by 15 is the answer. If it is 2 and 2, then 2 into 4 by 2 plus 2, 4, 1. So without even touching a pen, if you are knowing the formula, you can directly find what is the R equivalent for parallel connection. It is R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. These are not at all tricks or shortcuts. It is just the thing which I have derived here. So if you have two resistances which are in parallel, the equivalent resistance will be R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. Sir, what about if it is 3? Then you cannot use this. Then you have to find by that method, or take first 2, use by this, and whatever value you get, again that next 2 you can use by this. It's up to you. Like see, there are, like in your textbook itself, there will be hundreds of questions of resistances in series and parallel. So the more questions you solve, the more confidence you will get, and the more ideas you will get how to solve the resistances easily. Initially you will find that you are taking at least 10 minutes or 5 minutes of solving one question of resistance. But as you get experience in resistance solving, it will take hardly 30 seconds of solving complex circuits. It's all about your hard work and how much time you are putting for solving the resistances. The more you solve, the more expert you become. Now when we have learnt about how to find the resistance in series and parallel, let us see if it is a combination of both series and parallel. So there is a possibility, like suppose you have a circuit in which you have one resistance here, one resistance here, and one resistance here, and they will ask you to find the net resistance. It's very simple. The parallel things you solve separately, then these two comes in series and you will get the answer. Suppose I have taken a very basic question. This is 10th level question. A, B, suppose this is 2 ohm, this is also 2 ohm, this is also 2 ohm, and they find what is the value of R net between A and B, or R equivalent between A and B. And this 2 and 2 will form 2 into 2 plus 2, that is equal to 1. 1 ohm is the equivalent. So it is 2 here and it is 1 here. So between A and B, the R equivalent will be 2 plus 1, that is equal to 3 ohm. These kind of questions never ever think of expecting in the school examination. It is very low level question, right? So now usually how the questions are asked from this chapter, if the question is easy, it will be asked like there will be a circuit given and they will ask you to find current in for each resistor or potential drop across any resistor. For example, I have taken one question here. There, let me assume it is 2 ohm and let me assume it is 4 ohm. They are connected to a source of potential difference, and this battery is of suppose 10 volt. What they have asked you? They have asked you to find what is the question is given like this. What is the current through each resistor and net current drawn from cell. Also find potential drop across each resistor. This is the question. Now, how to solve this kind of question? So there are two methods of solving this. One thing is very basic method what you have studied in your 10th standard, and one method will be ratio current method, and I will tell you that also today. So first method, how we will do? First we will find the equivalent resistance of this circuit. So this 2 and 4 are in parallel. So what will be R equivalent? R equivalent will be equal to 4 into 2 by 4 plus 2 is 6. 2 3 are 6. So R equivalent is 4 by 3 ohm. Now R equivalent is 4 by 3 ohm. What is the potential difference? 10 volt. So what the cell will draw current? How much current will be drawn from cell? That current I will be equal to V by R. What is V? 10. What is R? 4 by 3. 2 to the 4. 2 5 is 10. 15 by 2, that is equal to 7.5 ampere. So current drawn here will be 7.5 ampere. So 7.5 ampere reaches here, isn't it? So 7.5 ampere has reached here. So what would be the current going in each branch? We can find it very easily. How we can find? See, if this is 10, I told you, if you assume this to be 0, this will be 10. This is 10 volt, this is 0 volt. So this, see, from here to here, there is no other device. So this point will have 10 volt as the potential. This point will have 0 volt. So what is the potential difference between this and this point? 10 volt. So this will also be having 10 volt and this will also be having 10 volt potential difference. So when we know V, when we know R, we can find E. I is equal to V by R. 10 by 2, that is 5 ohm. And what is 10 by 4? 10 by 4, 2 to the 4, 2 5 is 2.5, 2.5 ohm. So can you see it came exactly equal to 7.5. So if you are connecting a 10 volt battery in this network, then the net current drawn by the cell will be 7.5 ampere, and the current in each resistor, for 2 ohm resistor is 5 ohm, it is 5 ampere, sorry, and for 4 ohm it is 2.5 ampere. I hope you understood what I have done now. This was the most simple method, that finding what is the net current drawn from here and finding the potential. So we have found what is the current coming through R, that is 7.5 ampere, current drawn from the cell, current through each R, so 5 ampere and 2.5 ampere, current drawn from the cell 7.5 ampere, and potential drop across each resistance 10 volt, right. Now I will tell the second method to you. Second method is called as current ratio method. It is called as current ratio method. My suggestion is to have an idea about this also. It will be helpful for you in some complex circuits. So what is that? Let us see. So suppose I current comes here, and what goes here is I1 and I2. So what is I1? Current I1 is equal to V by R1, isn't it? What is I2? I2 current is equal to V by R2. So what is I1 is to I2, divide both. So you will get V by R1 is to V by R2, VV gets cancelled. So we know I1 is to I2 is equal to 1 by R1 is to 1 by R2. This is the logic. So now what I will do, let us see. So I1 is to I2, I am finding the ratio of the current coming in these two, that will be based upon the ratio of the resistances. So in this question, I can write I1 is to I2 is equal to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 4. So 1 by 2 is to 1 by 4. Now let us find a simpler ratio. Now this fraction is a decimal fraction. I will try to convert into whole fractions. What I will do, I will multiply this by 4. So if I multiply this by 4, this becomes 2, this becomes 1. So it becomes equal to 2 is to 1. I hope you are understanding how I have done this. Those who are having confusion in this, they can see like this: 1 by 2 divided by 1 by 4, that becomes equal to 4 by 2, that is 2 by 1. That's what I have written here. So I got I1 is to I2 as 2 is to 1. What does it mean? It means that out of 3 part, 2 part of the current is going in I1 and 1 part of the current is going in I2. So cannot I write, if I want to find I1 will be equal to what ratio it is going? 2 divided by total 3 into what is the current coming here? 7.5, isn't it? So let us check. 3 1s are 3.325. We can solve this, how much ever it comes. So 3 2 are 6, sorry, 0.35 is 15, 2.5. 2.5 into 2 is 5 ampere. Can you see 5 ampere? Same thing came. And what is I2? I2 is equal to 1 by 3 into 7.5. This will be 2.5 into 1, 2.5 ampere. So 2.5 ampere is the answer. So in any method you solve, you will get the same answer. Some students is wondering, sir, why you taught this method? It's very confusing and very tedious. This method itself is easy. Yeah, it is easy, but when you grow and when you start solving many questions, then you will realize the worth of this. It looks tough, but actually it will save a lot of time for you, especially if you are preparing for competitive examination. This question looks easy, but it is time consuming method. So my request is, in this kind of parallel circuits, you can use current ratio method instead of going for this old conventional method. Let us see the another question. Here also they have told the same thing, to find the current through each resistance and potential drop across each resistance. So my suggestion is, pause the video now, solve by yourself and check the answer. Then we can match whether your answer and my answer is matching or not. Please pause the video. I hope you have paused it. Okay. So if you have solved it, check your answer. So I will solve by both the methods. One method will be the conventional method what we used to see. So by using conventional method, I will write here method 1. See, I will first find the equivalent resistance of these two. So it will become 6 into 3 by 6 plus 3 is 9. So it becomes 2 ohm. So here already 2 ohm was there, and these two also became 2 ohm, and the battery is having 12 volt EMF. So 2 plus 2 is 4. So I is equal to V by R. So V is 12, R will be 4. So 12 by 4, 3 ampere will be coming out. So 3 ampere will start from here. This 3 ampere which starts from here goes here, and here it gets split. So this is 3 ampere coming here, and 3 ampere gets split. In what ratio it gets split? We can find? Yeah, we can find. So see, this is 12, this is 0. Can I write this as 12? This I can write as 0 very conveniently. Can I write this as 12? No, I cannot write. Why? See, 12, 12, 12, this point will have 12, but as it goes to resistance, the potential gets dropped. You understand what I am trying to say? How much it gets dropped? Okay, I will tell you. See, here 2, here 3. What is V? V is equal to IR. I is 3, R is 2. So 6 volt will be dropped here. So what will remain here? 6 volt will reach here. 6 volt, 0 volt. 6 minus 0, 6. So potential to drop across each resistance is 6 volt. So what is the current? Very easy to find. I is equal to V by R. 6 by 3. So here 2 ampere will come. 6 by 6. Here 1 ampere will come. So out of 3 ampere starting from here, 1 ampere will go down, 2 ampere will go up. One more way of thinking is, since it is double resistance offered in this, so half the current will go in this. That is also one way of thinking. This was the most easiest method, like what you feel, conventional method. Now I will solve the same thing by method number 2, that is called as current ratio method. So here see, I1 is to I2 will be equal to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 6. I will multiply by 6. So it becomes 2 is to 1 once again. So what will be I1? I1 will be equal to 2 by 3 into, what is the current drawn? 3. That is equal to 2 ampere. And I2 will be equal to 1 by 3 into 3. That is equal to 1 ampere. Now I think you will be starting feeling that it is more easy. Time will come. You will start feeling it is really more easy. Okay, let us see one more question now. Now the question is 3 ohm, 3 ohm, 6 ohm. There are 3 resistances, 3 ohm, 3 ohm and 6 ohm, and there is a potential drop of 12 volt. Please try to find what is the same question. What is the current through each resistance and potential drop against each. So potential drop we can say very easily 12, this point will be 12, this point will be 0. So each thing is having same 12 volt and 12 volt potential difference. Current now easily find 12 by 3 is 4 ampere, 12 by 3 is 4 ampere, 12 by 6 2 ampere, 4, 4, 8, 2, 10. So you can say it is 10 ampere. You want to verify this? Please verify. So if you find Req, it will become 1 by R is equal to 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 6. Taking the LCM as 6, it will become 2 plus 2 plus 1. So 5 by 6 ohm is the, not the 5 by 6 ohm, 6 by 5. 5 by 6 is the 1 by R value. So what will be R? R will be equal to 6 by 5 ohm. And then let us see what is the value of V. V is 12 volt. So V is equal to IR. So I is equal to V by R. So 12 by R is 6. 5 will come here. 6 by 12, 10 ampere. Isn't it the same value what we have got here? So simple method. So now I think you have started getting some confidence over the questions of resistances. So what you have learned today? You have learned about how to find the resistance in series and parallel, and also the combination of series and parallel resistances. So I have just given a little bit of idea about how to find the current through each resistance and how to find the potential drop across each resistance, also how to find the current drawn from the cell. These kind of questions rarely will come in examination. It's very basic. I am saying, this is what we learned in 10th itself. So I want you to practice as many questions as you can, solve from any book what you want to solve, but take a target of solving at least 500 questions of resistances to get some confidence in this. So the more questions you solve, the more confidence you get. In the next class, I will talk about complex circuits, where I will do some very interesting concepts. Please keep on watching the video, like it, share it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.